All right, what's going on, everybody? Happy Monday. Great day. Awesome day. Last night when futures opened up down again, like 5% or something for like the third, trading day in a row, I was like, dang, that's gotta be a little ridiculous, at least something to try and go after. So I did that with futures last night and worked out great. I figure we'll get some sort of a bounce here, and was this the whole bounce today? Who knows, right? I mean, after hours right now, futures are up a decent amount. I'm holding a position for longer than a day. um, in terms of equities. And so anyways, let's just jump into it. So current positions, corn. I'm still in corn. Gotta love it. Corn's working great. 1856 is cost basis here in the corn ETF, 1872. So, I'm not looking for a home run. That's for sure, right? So anyways, let's look over corn here, corn futures. It still looks really good. I think what I'm going to do here is keep holding that equity position. It's not tying up any cash for me. They're So with that being said, it's not tying up any cash having that sit in corn ETF, given how equities are. It doesn't it doesn't matter. So what I'm going to do here is next pullback with the stochastic coming down a little bit, go after futures again and kind of hold it. We'll see if this is going to be a sustained rally into like a better, buy point. And then I'll hold these futures contracts for longer than I did previous when I started that position in corn. So yeah, I don't know. That's cool. Looks good. Wow, wheat looks pretty good too right now. So, all right, grain's rocking and rolling. Copper. So, copper. When was this? Last week on this day, I said, wow, copper looks really good here. And then I started position either that day or this next day, or maybe around the 50-day moving average. I can't quite recall. I think I started on this day, and then I might have been adding to it on the way down. So, and then I read this awesome research paper on why you should be short copper just in the short term. And I'm like, dang, that was the literally the very next day when I had started the position. But it's just a starter position, and so it didn't really, affect anything. Now I have added to this, talk about, equities and things like copper getting blasted. So we're in calls with copper, and those are May 16, $29 strike price. $1.34. Oh wait. Yeah, $1.35 is average cost basis, and those are currently 47 cents. So this is whatever. It doesn't. This one doesn't matter. Huge gap up here to fill. So when we're playing these sort of contrarian plays, what we look for is extreme shifts, extreme sentiment, and we're trying to be on the opposite end of the extreme sentiment. Now, a strategy shifts during this current market versus when we're in a bull market or we're in a bear market. I guess technically the S&P is in a bear market now. I think I saw that technically. But you know what I mean, a longer term trending market, whether that's up or down, it doesn't matter. The strategy is the same for the most part if there is a longer term trend in place, whether it's up or down. Now, many weeks ago, I made a video saying the end is near. And, around that point or shortly thereafter, the trend for the bull market was over. But I said that's not a time to just start looking for any short positions, and so anyways, things are so far extreme in terms of the sentiment where some of the trades that I have on are a counter trade to sentiment. But that doesn't mean I'm going to be holding these trades for a while, if that makes sense. So these are still going to be much shorter term trades than I ever do. But this is the current market that we're in, and that is what the strategy dictates. So for these, I'm looking for some sort of gap fill, maybe around, I don't know, 28.50, 29 or so, maybe one good solid day. And so this brings me then over to China. Now, China closed at 30. Anyways, I started a position this morning here in China, and this is a 5-minute chart now. So here's market open. I don't know, somewhere in here or here, and those are May 16, $31 strike price. And those are calls. $1.93 is what I pay. Those are currently $2.55. So those are working out nice. And after hours, it's up pretty nicely, which would make sense given U.S. equities are up nicely. Now, typically copper and China equities are correlated pretty decently. And again, we are doing a contrarian play to market sentiment. That doesn't mean that I think this bear market or the downtrend is over. I don't think that at all. I have an opinion, and that opinion is that it is not over. But it could be completely wrong. It doesn't matter. I'm going to trade what the market is, which is, in a downtrend, in an extreme territory downtrend, where the likelihood of a bounce higher is greater, and I will get out short, a quicker trade until the market proves otherwise. And that's it. Simple, stress-free. There's no trying to be smart and ego trade, or just, you just take what's given, and that's it. So let's see here. So we're looking for balance in copper. We're looking for balance in China. And like I said, not a longer term swing trade. That's for sure. Now let's go over to another position I have. So Dow, my all-time favorite index. Dow. Ooh, whoa. Dow's up nicely after hours. Cool. That's awesome. That's fantastic. So Dow. So this morning, same thing. This is a 5-minute chart. Yeah, in terms of an intraday chart, okay, if you're making decisions on, if you're making decisions on intraday, then you need to have your time frame set for a similar time frame where you're making that decision off of, but that's not necessarily always true. However, in this current market, so we're talking on a 5-minute chart. This whole chart in here pattern on 5-minute chart. You know what type of pattern? It's irrelevant. What's important is there is a consolidation pattern happening after mass amounts of selling. The craziest selling I've seen in a long time that I can recall. Honestly, initially with COVID, it was nuts. So when those banks were failing in the last bear market, that was crazy too. But this just seems like it's just craziness. So anyways, we're fading the craziness. Play some debit spreads in here for Dow. You know, in the morning-ish. And those are expiring May 9th. 385 is the long call. 395 is the short call. 470 is what I paid for those. Those are currently 490. Now 470, I'm doing some shopping around. Man, it took me a while. I mean, that was the best one that I could find. Now, it's not like I look extensively for a long time, you know. I mean, it takes me maybe 5 minutes to go through a bunch of them. But, yeah, I mean, 470 paying for that for a $10 spread is a little rich for my blood, but it still meets my criteria. And my criteria being the maximum return for a debit spread has to be at least 100%. And so that still meets that criteria, albeit just barely, but it still meets it. So 470 is what I paid for those. Those are currently 490. Now, what am I going to do with these? We'll see what tomorrow holds. Again, like I said, this is going to be a shorter term trade. You know, there's no sense in trying to be a hero. I say this a bajillion times. It's not what trading is about. This is a business. It has nothing to do with stroking one's ego, gambling, none of that at all. So I feel that there is a good contrarian play to play, and I will take what is given. So, you know, let's say markets gap up tomorrow, which it looks like they will. I may just blow these out right away. And the market could shoot way higher, and so be it. That's completely fine. You know, it is what it is. So that's it. That's all the positions. We are not in a uptrending market, so you cannot trade it the same way of being in an uptrending market. It just simply put, because it isn't. So therefore you should not trade it the same way. Just no. So, okay, that's that. All right, cool. All right, now let's go over, oh shoot, silver. Silver, I got crushed in silver. I was wrong on silver. Let's go over silver trade. So my thinking in placing silver on this day, right here, right before one of the heaviest selling in silver I've ever seen. This was like a 7% day. Yeah, and this day it looked so good. I had placed this like, you know, right in here, doing fantastic. Had a nice cushion. Oh crap, is that what happened? Did I add to it? Anyways, I was in silver. Regardless of when I placed it, I can't quite recall. But I had a nice cushion. It didn't quite meet my price target. And remember, you guys, I said, it's close. It didn't quite meet the price target. I've got a good cushion. We'll wait and see. And then just completely blasted. But my thinking in silver was as a hedge, like gold. So, but more of a risk on sort of hedge. So my thinking was, if gold is going to be rocking, which it had been rocking, people are going to go farther out on the risk curve and a correlating asset and go after silver. Man, was I wrong on that one. I was completely wrong. The thinking on that was right in a sense, but clearly that was completely wrong, and I will never ever again treat silver as more of a risk-on version of gold, although it kind of is. But I think silver is kind of. I saw some chart where it is relative. It's kind of correlated to the S&P 500. So, whatever. I should have just gone with gold. But anyways, got absolutely smoked on silver and got out of that one. On the same day, like down 7%. I mean, that was insane. 8%, right? Again, on crazy abnormal days, you have to cut that position like that. It's yeah, and then you see why after. I mean, then the following day was like another 8% day. Yeah, just unbelievably crazy. Okay. So, another loser I had was GTX. So wow, look at this rebound. So 818, and I said anything below 8 and I would get out of it. And that's what I did. So, I don't know, a couple percentage points, no big deal. Nothing to really talk about. All right, now let's go over indexes. There's no need to go. There's nothing to talk about. I mean, we could expect a really nice, solid, healthy bounce, a crazy bounce, huge bounce. And that's how I'm positioned. I'm still basically just doing intraday trades for, in the Q and NQ for, 10, 20 points, which, by the way, today was, these are some of the largest spreads that I have seen. You'd be placing a trade, order gets filled, and then the very next move is like 8 points. That's pretty wild. That's pretty wild. So, yeah. This is, let's go to like a 2-minute chart here. So, look at these. So here's from 320 to almost 4. So that is an 80-point move in 2 minutes, and that happened a lot during the day. That's a pretty violent swing. So, where is it going with that? I don't know where I was going with that. All right. And, okay, blah, blah, yes. 5,000 level, right? Expect some sort of a bounce, and that's clearly what we're getting. We're getting some sort of a bounce. Is this going to be sustained up here or not? I have no clue. And it doesn't really matter. You just take what the market gives, and we are not in an uptrend, so it's not traded as an uptrend. You take what you can get and move on. Super light, just light and easy. All right, let's go over Mag 7. Let's start with Tesla. I gotta be honest, I'm not even really looking at single stocks all that much. I never even really mess with single stocks, so it's not that crazy that I don't look at them. But I feel like I'm really haven't even lately. You got enough to pay attention to with commodities and indexes where, and that's basically my focus anyways. I'm more of a macro guy than single stocks. It's just there's no need. There's no need to be in single stocks. For an actively managed portfolio, there is no need. Google. Wow, yeah, see? Little gap down here, Phil. Yeah, I mean, things are just so oversold where, and sentiment is so negative where we want to fade that. We are fading that. Okay, all right, let's look at Apple. Oh, yeah, I mean, remember I said back, up here when things were kind of, when I said the bull market's over, it's done. I said if we do get into a bear market, this gap down here at 170 will get filled. And today was the day that it filled that gap. So, hey, if you're bullish on Apple, that is a good sign. All right. But yeah, at the time, right, you're like, what? So this is kind of how the chart looks, right? 220. You're like, yeah, man, this is going down. This is going to fill this gap. If we enter a bear market, and I would have never expected it to fill it in like 2 days. That's insane. I mean, that's just how negative. I mean, I've never seen this with Apple. At all. First of all, yeah, we talked about how strange it was, how it just blasted right through this 50-day, and that's when, like, dude, this is not normal. This market is sick, that's getting close to the end. Yeah, I mean, geez, man, 2-3 days. Yeah. Let's look at NVIDIA. Man. Let's start. So now's kind of the time you want to look at things on like a weekly chart and see, is there any sort of pattern forming, any bottoming pattern forming? And no, this isn't a bottoming pattern here. Now, sure, this could rocket higher, yes, but this is not a tradable pattern. No pattern has emerged from this. All right, let's look at Apple on a weekly chart. Yeah, I mean, shoot, if you're a long-term investor with not an actively managed portfolio, then, it's Apple. Pretty decent looking levels. All right, let's move on. Microsoft. Yeah, same thing. Again, if you're a longer term investor, yeah, look at this level here. It's a pretty obvious level. Yeah. Again, you would think there's a higher probability of a bounce here, right? After you remember, this was 8%. Remember that one day? So from here to there, 8%. And look at how much farther down, right? We are in oversold territory. I hate using that term. We're in extreme bearish sentiment. All right, that's it. I don't know what else there is. Amazon and Meta. Amazon. I don't even know. I don't know. Amazon. People are still spending money, I think. I haven't looked at any retail numbers, but just in terms of, I haven't heard any people spending less money per se. So, I don't know. But, yeah, again, it's all the same. I feel like I feel like a broken record. That's why, and I have so few positions on, which is why I'm not doing as many videos. I just feel like a broken record. It's like the bull market has been over, right? So there's no buying. There's no buying going on, right? But I felt like today would be a good day to make a video as extreme sentiment. We're fading the extreme sentiment. Not for any long-term position, not for any real swing trade. We're just going to take what the market can give us and run away. All right, financials. Let's look at financials. Wow. And let's look at KRE. Whoa. So, yeah, I mean, you guys remember I was short KRE right here this day, and got out at 56. And so, this is how it looked. I was short right here. Boom, boom, 56. Remember I talked about this area right here, 56. Boom, get out. The reason that I held that real short is because, I'm not in any long-term downtrending market, so I didn't treat it as such. And that looked like a fantastic thing to do. And then, last couple days, it looked like a retarded thing to do. But you don't know that, right? So you take what's given, and, it shot way lower, which you figure the probability of it going lower is greater than higher, right? I mean, with the bull market being over, but doesn't matter. Okay, so now let's look at biotech. Oh gosh, biotech's off a cliff, nosediving. Wow. XLV healthcare. Yeah, see again. Okay, so 130. So you can clearly see certain areas where you're like, okay, we're probably gonna kind of bounce around here around 130. Like, yeah, okay. Real estate. Whoa, blasted. Let's look at home builders. Blasted. Ugh. Yeah, see, this isn't a good sign. You know what I mean? And again, yes, this could bounce a lot higher, and there is a chance where you're going to see it all over the news because, here's how we're fading sentiment. Here's these things that you pick up on, right? So, like mainstream media is all talking about stocks, right? Democrats, the liberals, all talking about stocks, and like, oh, look at this, blah, blah, blah. When do they ever talk about that, And when is stocks ever on, Dow 1,000 points on mainstream media? Like, never. So, like major news networks, you know what I mean? It's not. So that's something you kind of pick up on, you know what I mean? Where you think, dang, man, the sentiment is so far down. And the same thing is, I use the same thing when it's really far up as well. Market sentiment is what really is important with stocks. That's really kind of what the secret is. And the best way to capture market sentiment is with technical analysis. And that's what people don't understand. Don't fully grasp, don't fully understand. That's the power of technical analysis. It is what actually moves prices, which are people and market sentiment, and that's how to chart it. Okay, all right. There's that. Blah blah blah. Okay, bonds. And wow, slammed. Jeez. Oh my goodness. Huh. Wow. Wow. Man, that's not a good sight. Whoa. What is am I going back to this high yield, high income, HYB, HYG? Yes. Wow. Yeah, getting smoked. So yeah, I mean, clearly there is no appetite for risk, and this is not good. All right, now let's move over to Bitcoin, and then call it a night here. It's getting kind of late, but man, how to make a Costco run. By the way, Costco's just as bad as it's ever been. Let's see what's up with Costco. I mean, this has got to be one of the all-time greatest businesses, but look at this, below the 200-day moving average. Dun, dun, dun. All right. Oh, where's it going? Oh, Bitcoin. And sweet. Yeah. I mean, you know, we could kind of make this a sort of bounce play and nothing else until proven otherwise. You know, you see so many people on YouTube. You'll never see successful traders doing this, but unless they're so far at the top where they have the power to move markets, then but they have different reasons for giving opinions, longer term opinions. But you'll never see successful traders really give any sort of let's see, what am I trying to say here? Like a definitive opinion. I heard a great quote from an extremely successful trader is, I have strong opinions held loosely. So, you know, the opinions kind of don't really matter, you know, essentially. I either get proven right or wrong, and it doesn't matter. So, you know, here, this looks okay. This looks okay for a bounce play. And like I said, maybe get out, you know, for a couple percentage points, and the thing just rockets higher, right? But that's okay. Then you would trade it differently, and you just take what's given. It's stress-free. You take what's given and move on. All right, let's go over some Bitcoin miners. Nothing to see. Oh, you know what? I should maybe make a video on Bitcoin about my position, because my stance on Bitcoin has changed. So maybe I can make them. Now, in terms of money, putting your money where your mouth is, I haven't changed that with Bitcoin yet. So, again, you know, just an opinion. I'm not acting on that opinion, so it could be completely meaningless. But I've come to some realization here that I just never thought of before. It's kind of like, whoa, a little scary. In terms of Bitcoin. So maybe I'll make a video on that in the future. Let's look at cruises. Carnival. What a nasty last couple months we've had. I mean, this is extreme. $30 to $15. It's like a Royal Caribbean. Wow. See, again, I mean, this is why risk management is important. And another indicator of things are just totally screwed. I mean, this is a perfect chart. It does not get better than this. Huge gap up on earnings, huge volume, waited for the pullback, perfect pullback, stochastic down here at like 20. Beautiful. Bought right at the 21-day moving average, and I'm adding to this. And then the very next day, completely smoked. Just things that, and I remember making all these videos, like, there's so many anomalous things that are happening where, you know, the end is near. Right? So anyway, so cut the position. I think I gave it maybe one more day or something. I don't know. And cut the position for a pretty substantial loss from it looking perfect, which it sucks to do that, but and then just, you know, so that would have been 100% loss, you know what I mean? So all right, and that's it, guys. Yeah, you know, I don't know, maybe make a video. Got lots of things going on around here that are keeping me extremely busy. Again, I mean, it's 8:30, man. So let's see what's going on with futures right now. Is there anything to do? 8:02. No. Okay, let's go over real quick some day trading stuff here. Just kind of some day trading things. Um, so in here, there is a bunch of good trades. And again, I mean, these are huge swings. This is huge. This doesn't look that big because this is just relative for today. But yeah, so in 5 minutes, this was 7,444, 7,737. So yeah, a few hundred points in 5 minutes. I mean, that's insane. Every once in a while I got these massive ones, on some fake news thing, but anyways, okay. So okay, hey, you got to be a little bit careful here for the day. Be extra prudent. So this all looked great. This in here worked well, very well, and these were huge moves. Okay, and we're trading this. Traded this down in here, and then boom, this candlestick. All right, done for the day. Why? Because this is an abnormal move. Just like with stocks on a longer term time frame, you can apply similar strategy to shorter term time frames. But that means that those decisions are just shorter term, right? So it's like, okay, I'm not going to make any day trades after this, but that doesn't mean that I'm cutting my debit spreads down because of this, right? Okay, I don't know if that makes sense to people, but so anyways, so abnormal, okay, and then what happens? Kind of boom, blast down. What is this? 1150. Do. And then things started kind of leveling off and looking pretty good. And I figured we're probably going to have a nice little strong close. But again, you had something a little weird in here, and I just, I'm not going to place any trades after this going in here. Although this did look pretty enticing. These are huge moves. They don't look like it, but yeah, those are huge. So I just kind of stay out of it. But good close, and yeah, now things kind of dropping. I don't know. Ooh, see, yeah, this does not look good. So, anyways, guys, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if I gonna make a video tomorrow. I would like to, but just, man, things are busy. This week's going to be a crazy week, so we'll see. But anyways, you guys hopefully found some cool stuff out of this video. Hopefully everybody's just learning, getting a little bit better every day, and staying alive in this market. So I'll catch you guys later.